Welcome to Spectre Sisters, your portal into the unexplainable, the unknown, and the undeniably strange.
Each week, your hosts will guide you through chilling true accounts of possible paranormal encounters, bizarre events, and local legends that blur the line between fact and fiction. But we're not here just to spook. We shine a flashlight on the dark corners, question everything, and peel back the layers to find the truth. Or at least try.
From haunted houses and cryptid sightings to eerie coincidences and unsolved mysteries, the Spectre Sisters are on a mission to investigate it all with logic, curiosity, and just the right amount of goosebumps.
Love horror flicks and eerie thrillers? We've got that too, with in-depth reviews, hidden gem recommendations, and a critical eye on the strange side of cinema.
Plus, we sit down with local businesses, paranormal experts, and everyday people with not-so-everyday stories, and even take you on walkthroughs of some of the spookiest spots around.
Whether you're a skeptic, a believer, or just along for the ride, Spectre Sisters is your go-to hub for everything weird, wild, and wonderfully unexplained.
So light a candle, keep your mind open, and remember, not everything strange is supernatural.
But some of it just might be.
Everyone loves a good scary story, especially if it's a true one. Nothing sends shivers up the spine like the missing 411 case of 2-year-old Stephen Rowan Grifton. The 411 is originally from the book series created by David Paulides, focusing on cases of individuals who vanish under unusual circumstances. These disappearances often occur with a few clues and no resolution. There's been speculation about reoccurring similarities between cases, including how often the cases occur in remote areas, often the victim being found miles away from where they were last seen, or they appear in an area that has already been searched thoroughly. To make a case a 411, there has to be a lack of any plausible evidence, including signs of struggle, DNA such as footprints and fingerprints, or any clothing recovered. According to one data analysis of over 1,000 missing individuals, 44.5% were never found. 75.7% of the missing were male, leaving 24.3% female, and a surprising 42.5% of the total victims being children. The data was recorded by Gary Kohler and expanded upon by Martin Rensney in what they considered to be the first statistical analysis of the missing 411 cases. And Rowan's case is a good example of a 411. At just 2 years old, Rowan disappeared during a family event at his grandmother's home off Route 32 in Richmond, New Hampshire, at around 3 p.m. According to witnesses, he was last seen chasing a cat. He had been outside with a maximum of 8 other children at the time of his disappearance, and somehow no one noticed. A search party was formed at a little after 4 p.m. At 1:40 a.m., not far from Rowan's grandmother's house, his shoe was recovered. Later that night, a group of adults and family friends joined the search, riding their ATVs in the search area. At about 20 minutes into their search, they had heard crying about 3 miles away from Rowan's grandmother's home. They called out for Rowan, and he responded by first asking about his mother, which I feel like that's a typical 2-year-old response. Yeah, he's like, please. Reports say the boy was terrified, shaking like a leaf. His lips were blue, but otherwise he was physically stable, which was confirmed by first responders before being reunited with his family. But the most shocking part of Rowan's discovery is that he was found in the middle of a waist-deep swamp, clinging helplessly from a protruding tree. All the while not being able to swim. When questioned about how he came to be in this predicament, his response was that a man lured him into the woods by peeking out from behind a tree. Nope. Yeah, I would not. I don't know why, but no, I'd run the opposite way. Rowan took interest and followed the man. As he trailed behind the mysterious man, he claimed that multiple animals were watching him from the darkness, but he was safe because he was being protected by some giant unknown being, and Rowan has not changed his story since. So, definitely something crazy, and I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad he was just fine, and that's such a weird case.
Yeah, because then what's the point of, this sounds terrible, but what's the point of abducting a child if, then you're just going to leave them in the middle of a swamp?
So, kidnapping to me doesn't make any sense, because are you just going to, go put a kid in a tree and be like, okay, Christmas ornament? I don't understand. Well, I can't think of any logical, genuine reason.
No, yeah.
And then especially there's no way he put himself that far. Also, the fact that he was 3 miles away and it was an 11-hour about missing.
Yeah.
And they found his shoe later on. So the search party had already been through at 4. And later on,
Okay.
they had found the shoe near the house, which is crazy that the shoe was somehow like back by the house.
Yeah, missed and it wasn't seen before.
Right, and how the canines never like found him, because if he's just in a tree and waddled over there, because I'm sure he was waddling,
they would have been able to track him probably.
Yeah. Also, at 2, going 3 miles is insane. Like,
that's a long trek for a small.
Right. Most kids, you get up to a mile and they're like, yeah, this is too much. Go home, go to bed type of thing.
They're like those dogs that just refuse to walk after a certain amount of
right. I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm that way too.
I get it. Yeah. And it doesn't make sense either. Like, I don't know. The fact that he's never changed his story and talking about a man.
Yeah. When he said like a giant, didn't he?
Like a giant being protecting him too. Like, that's wild.
And peeking out from behind a tree. Isn't there there is a folklore about like the peekers or something. Have you ever seen like things that peek from behind trees? It's like some sort of
like a wisp
folklore
type of thing, maybe like luring you. Like a siren type of thing, but on land. I don't know. I don't understand how logically, like, because kids, if they tell a story, they're going to change it and stuff if they're lying. They're 2.
Yeah, you're right. Because it will change with their imagination.
Yeah, and then to like do that specifically, like having all these like saying like all these eyes were watching him that were like from animals and stuff. That's weird too. Like that's kind of creepy. I think from one account, if I do remember as well, he was like the cows were watching him and stuff, and like it's like, okay, it's just a weird detail to add on top of everything else. Be like, I followed a strange man, and then the cows were staring at me. It's like, that's a weird kind of like, I don't know. I know some people think of like some sort of other dimension type of things, and I don't know, some Doctor Who activities of like having something suddenly like being in a parallel universe of where the cows watch you.
Yeah.
Or like time slips for sure. Like, because that's so odd that like within the time frame, and then having the people finally like way later get on their ATVs and then find him 20 minutes later. And it's been almost 11 hours. That's
that is
How did the police and the fish and like nobody until 1:40 a.m.
Yeah, and that is very strange.
Also, for a 2-year-old, I think you're still wearing diapers at that age. I assume so.
Yeah.
And so, like, he was probably really hungry, you wouldn't be, it's really weird that he was just put there. And I know there's a lot of theories about, like, the government and stuff. Like, even that's kind of crazy for this. Like, they wouldn't really, like, that kid specifically.
What are the government, like, that they just use them for?
I don't know. Like, just, like, experiments or anything, or, just small mini soldiers. I have no idea.
They're implanting them with chips.
I guess so. I don't know. And I mean, like, I guess you could argue maybe aliens, because there was a shoe. They shot him up into space and said, well, Cinderella this, and put a shoe there, and then put him on a tree. He's safe. That's such a hard story because it doesn't make sense. And there were so many people that like didn't see him leave either. Like, he was just gone. And it's like,
I feel like for a young kid to just leave completely unnoticed without any like sort of
you better be watching
trail or sort of
I don't, it doesn't make sense, because like the most coherent and logical things would either be he walked away on his own, but it's not logical when you come up to the fact of distance and not being able to swim. And then with kidnapping, it just doesn't, what is the point of like possibly going to jail over all of that? And there was no evidence of anything else.
And he didn't, like, the kid didn't say anything really bad that happened or anything like that.
Okay. Like, it was just kind of creepy. But like, I want to know what the like unknown being was. Did he think it was like an angel of some sort? Did he think it was like a cryptid? Like, I don't know. It could be anything. Like, I guess he said protected, so it could be.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe like in a religious sort of, like with angels or something like that. Like, if he did wander off and get lost, maybe it was something that like guided him to a place he'd be found. I don't know.
I don't know. But it was a really... I'm really glad he's just fine and stuff, but that's such a good example of a 411, because it's so hard to find any logical explanation to be able to explain the occurrences, because it doesn't make any there's no sense to be had there. Like, and if anybody listening has any theories, please type them below, because I want to read them.
Please. Me too.
I want to know. And if anybody like knows more insight, I will have all of these.
Were you there?
Listed. Were you there? Are you Stephen
eyewitness accounts, please?
Yeah, please, only.
Were you one of the cows watching?
The cow and the cat. And if you're the man peeking out from behind the woods, can we please get an exclusive?
We need you in for an interview. Yeah.
This was Spectre Sisters. Spook you next time.